Hello and welcome to a lovely day down here in sunny Somerset. So about a year ago I made this camping tarp. This time around I want to make something that's smaller and lighter. So this is a king size bed sheet, just a common bed sheet, which I've waterproofed. The idea was to make something like the British Army Basher that's in the background there. We'll have a close look at it in a moment. So similar dimensions but breathable. And I managed that. I then took this on a 120-mile hike and it performed brilliantly. It's my only form of shelter and I was completely happy with it as a form of shelter, but it was a bit big and the breathability thing wasn't as useful as I imagined it would be. So I had in mind stopping for lunch and setting it up for a bit of nice shade, but what happened in practice was if it was lunchtime and it was still somewhere sunny, I just carried on a bit further until I found a nice spot in the shade, and that's where I had lunch. So something smaller and thereby lighter, and also I figured because it doesn't need to be breathable now, I could make it out of a lightweight material, say nylon, make it even lighter. Because the lightness thing I never used to worry about, but the further you hike the more crucial it gets, well at least in my experience. So the bed sheet, once I'd hemmed it all the way round, came in at just over 2.5 metres by 2.4 metres. The basher down here is exactly the same length, but it's 2.2, just over 2.2 metres wide. And weight-wise, they came in about the same. So it's 920 grams for the bed sheet and 980 for the basher. So on a recent overnighter, I set up the basher like this to see if I could get away with a half-size tarp. And the answer is almost. Well, almost half this. So this is folded over with half of the basher being a ground sheet. I'll put this mat in. There's just enough room to sleep in there with some weather protection, and there's plenty of room at the end here for my whole pack to go in. So I'm thinking something roughly this length is fine, slightly wider. So we're currently on about 1.1 metres. The fabric comes in rolls which are generally 1.5 metres. So I'm just going to go with that. I think that'll be, I mean, obviously I've got to hem it, so it'll be slightly less than 1.5 metres, but I think that'll be just the right width. So set up like this, and bear in mind there's infinite configurations, it doesn't have to be like this. But if it was set up like this, at 1.5 metres it would come to there, which, yeah, I think that's going to be cock on. So I started to search for some fabric. The lightweight was the primary goal. I wanted something light. Ripstop would be a big bonus, which this isn't of course, and inconspicuous, so maybe a darker shade of green than this, not necessarily the camouflage that the basher is, but yeah, something a bit inconspicuous. So olive drab was what I went for, and this is what turned up. And I don't know how this looks on camera, but in real life this is bright green. so that's no good. I'm keeping it anyway. I can make other things out of it. Then I found this one, and again I don't know how this comes across on camera, but this is much more olive drab. These are both ripstop nylon, and they're both listed at the same weight, at 60 grams per square metre, or which I think is the same as 2 ounce per yard presumably. It's not so easy searching for fabric when you're, I mean, I'm completely confident in iron thumping, not so much in touching cloth, if that's even the correct term. So that's better, but then when I was waiting for this to turn up, I found a listing for this, and I just had to buy some because it looks so wacky. So this is, I think, digital camouflage or pixel camouflage is all the rage amongst militaries. I don't think this is an actual military one. It was described on the listing as Minecraft camouflage, whatever that is, and I can't find anything similar to it anywhere. But this is also lightweight, ripstop. I think it's intended for kite making, but it seems pretty tough. I mean, they all do. However, I don't think it's inconspicuous by any means. But then with pixel camouflage, it's not up close that matters, it's a distance thing. So what we do in order to choose is set up a line out the back there at about the height that they're going to be pitched at, and then we'll drape all 3 fabrics over the line, step right back and see how they look. Now before we go any further, I feel I should point out there's no actual need for me to be making this tarp. If I wanted a tarp, a lightweight tarp in these dimensions, I could just buy one. For instance, the DD Hammocks Superlight Small would fit the bill, although they don't offer it in pixel camouflage. But anyway, I'm making this because I like making stuff, and sometimes that's reason enough. I don't know how it looks to you, but to me, in real life as it were, the pixel one has got like a silver sheen to it. Particularly when the sun hits it just right, it's like a beacon. it's not inconspicuous. Strangely enough, the one that I thought was bright green, once you get a bit of distance on it in the sun, it's quite dark. All of them are better than the bed sheet, that was green, but it looks yellow in the sunlight. What I'm going to do is just leave that out and see what it looks like later in the day when the sun starts to go down. So we've seen what it looks like in bright sunlight. I'll come back and have another look in twilight and then choose one. Right, sun's gone down and we're into twilight now, and I've draped them both the main contenders over the other tarp, and just just look at the difference. That's the pixel camouflage. That blue is just so artificial, it's crazy. There's another issue I've discovered as well. This pixel camouflage just lets all the light through. This does not. Much as I like this funky design, it's just not practical at all. Yeah, maybe I'll make a kite out of it or something. First thing I'm going to do is cut it down a bit. So we're at the right width, but this is 3 meters, this piece of fabric, and I'm going to aim for 2.8 when we're finished. So I need to allow a bit more for hemming. So I'm going to fold it over, stitch it, fold it over again, stitch it, so double hem. So I think an extra 40mm on each end. 2.8 plus 40. This is a welder's pencil for marking steel, but it seems to work quite well on fabric. This is the Beaver. Beaver 3 no less, and that's the good one. I don't know if this is a good machine or not, but I love it, it's brilliant. And since I found it in the skip, it's not like it owes me anything. I've got quite a heavy needle in here, and I've no idea if that's a really bad thing. Yeah, so I'm going to have to switch to a finer needle. The thick needle I was using just pushed all the fabric straight down to where the bobbin lives. So yes, these ones are much finer. That in there, I think that's probably a denim needle. there is a single hem. I guess it's fine functionally, but obviously look a lot neater with a double hem. If we just go over like that, that's going to smart it right up. Well, this wasn't part of the plan. It's jamming somewhere. I've taken the top off. I've got out the 3-in-1. But it won't. I've never opened up a sewing machine before. Everything here seems okay, although I can't tell for sure. So I'm wondering if there's an issue down in there. I'm going to hoover out that dust. Right, that's going round and round now, which it wasn't a moment ago. So where I can't get in with the oil, I'm giving a little tiny squirt of lubricant. That's started to work now. That feed mechanism there wasn't working before. That's why I was having to drag the cloth through. So that's normal. And that's reverse. So that might be good. We might have actually made that better. Boom. We're back in business. Phew. Oh, it's been so long since I've used this, I haven't really noticed that there was something amiss, but yeah, now we can. I still can't sew in a straight line to save my life, but that's on me, not the machine. Now we need to think about tie-outs, and I'm going to use this stuff all round. So this is like 1/2 inch, I think this is, webbing 12mm. So I'll have little tie-outs like that. One thing I learned from the creation of my first shelter, the tent, which I used a grand total of once, the instructions to that said to put in eyelets, and so I punched in loads of brass eyelets around it, which look lovely. They're so weak, they're useless. Tie-outs are much, much better. So a little webbing tie out, just a little loop like that. Once it's bedded into reinforced fabric, so just several layers of fabric, really strong. So that's what I'm going to do on this. So we're going to have 3 down each end and 5 on the long sides. I wonder if this little strip here would be enough. So what we need then is cut these to a size that I can hem into a square, then I'm going to fold them over into a triangle, and they'll all be triangles when they're fitted on here. So I've gone ahead now and stitched the webbing onto those reinforcement triangles. And I made 2 different types. So there's that one for the corners and that type for the rest. So we're onto the home straight now. Just got to get all of those sewn onto this and we're done. And the nice thing is there's no measuring to do now. So the corners are obvious. But every other location can be done just by halving, as you'll see. So I'll do the corners first and then we'll mark out the rest. So I'm going round the edge of the triangle and then I'm going to go back and forth over it, get it all locked in really well. corner's done. So now at the end here, I just put the corners together, find the middle. Those ones. And then I'm going to do the same deal, sew around the edge, and then up and down, up and down, up and down. We're there. So that's 12 secure tie-outs and a rectangle that's been hemmed, double hemmed all the way around with the patented Ironthumper wibbly stitch. The question is this strong enough? If we put some tension on it, is it just going to fall to bits? I don't think so, but let's find out. Incidentally, if you want to see there are a myriad of configurations for tarps, obviously. Check out the channel Sort of Interesting, which is a very enthusiastic chap up in Wales. Loves his tarps, and he's done loads of videos on different configurations. Also check out the channel Papa Hiker. Same again, loads of different configurations, particularly for small tarps like this one. But I think this would be one of my favourites. That is plenty of room. Plenty of room. That's a good shelter. Of course there's extra, if it was particularly blowy, or kind of like it is now, I've got all those extra points I can pin out as well. Okay, we need to do two more things. I need to weigh it, see what the total weight is after all this, and see if it's waterproof or at least water resistant. Oh yeah. Yeah. Splendid. So normally when you've built a tent or a shelter or whatever, you'd have to seam seal it, but because I've just literally hemmed the edges and all the reinforcements around the edges, I don't feel any need to do that. It might pick up some water where those reinforcement points are, but I'm not bothered in the slightest about that. So that's it, it's done. Well, I'll tidy up the threads. There's loads of threads hanging out. Let's weigh it. What I'll do is zero the scales with this bungee on and then use it to wrap up the tarp. Yeah, so we're on 0. Okay, what we got? Wow. You should be able to see that. That's a third of what the other two weighed. Wow. What's that in old money? That's 11 ounces. So just over 300 grams or 11 ounces. So far at least, I'm absolutely delighted with that as a result. We won't be able to have a final verdict until it's been through some serious weather, but for now, that's brilliant. A third of the weight of the other two, and yet still enough coverage to provide a decent amount of shelter. So I want to test this out one more time before taking it on a big hike. So an overnighter somewhere. I've got just a place in mind. You're welcome to join me for that one, but that's it for now. Cheers.